Hey guys, how's it going? Blake W here. I've been playing a lot of Interplanetary recently with a bunch of my friends. I just kind of wanted to make a very short, very quick tutorial in case anybody's interested in the game. It's by Team Jolly Roger. It's on Steam. It's kind of new. They're still updating a lot of it. They recently put out a big update for the single-player campaign, or not campaign, but I guess kind of like solo play. And I think a lot of people are going to start playing it soon. So I wanted to throw a tutorial out there because I've been getting a lot of questions on it. So this will just be a simple overview. The object of the game is to be the last man standing. You're essentially battling it out with everybody else on separate planets. You have 5 cities, and the object is to destroy your opponent's 5 cities through lasers and missiles and railguns and asteroids and super lasers. So, as you can see on the upper left hand side here, you have your 5 cities listed out, so you can kind of keep a watch on them. It is easier to destroy them the lower population they have, and there's certain technologies in the tech tree that can raise your population. Nothing I'll get into in depth at this time, but something to note. On the upper left hand side as well, you have your globe, which shows you how many materials you have. There's a set number of materials, so you can run out of them. So you kind of have to plan accordingly. But again, something you can get into in kind of advanced strategies. The 2 bars here represent your 2 resources that you have to keep a track on. The top one is power, or I guess electricity, and the bottom one is your materials. Directly to the right of that, you see how much you get a turn. Each of those has a specific interaction with building, powering weapons and defenses. So there's different play styles you can go through of which one you prioritize, or if you kind of go down the middle. But that is what those are there for. On the right hand side here, you have your different kinds of overviews. So the overview is the current map that we're in right now, which is where you can see all of the planets that you would be doing battle against. This is a 1v1 against an AI, so you can see that I'm here on the blue circular path, orbital path, and he is on this orange orbital path. If we move down to the build view, it takes us down into our planet. And you can see you have your cities here. There's 3 of them, so there's 5 on here. And this is generally where you will start out the game. So right now I'm getting 750 power a turn and 200 material. My favorite opening build is going over here and looking at the 2 resources. It shows you how much you get per turn if you were to construct an extra one, and then also how much it costs to build. And as you mouse over it, it's going to show you and kind of flash in green to let you know how much of materials it's going to take. You could start off by building weapons first turn, and next to that you see minus 200 power use. So you have to keep in mind you have to have power in reserve to actually fire the weapon, and it's not fireable the first turn that you built it. Same thing with your defenses. You have to have a certain amount of energy left over to actually trigger the defenses. So for this specific turn, I'm going to build a solar plant, and I'm going to connect it to my city just by mousing over it and extending this out. You can see that it'll break if I try to build it too far away, which wouldn't provide this city with any kind of power. And also, it takes up one of the slots. You can see that cities have 5 slots. So I built my solar plant. One of the slots that I can connect a building to this city is taken up, and the solar plant itself takes up one. I'm going to select a mine here and go off of the solar plant. I don't need to connect it to the city. It's going to receive electricity from the power plant itself, so that's fine. But as you can see, it's not immediately going to receive power, and it'll take up the 2nd slot of my solar plant. And I'll just construct a mine out. So that's kind of a standard opening turn for turn 1. If we go here and look at the intelligence view, it's going to take me to my enemy's planet, and here's where I can mouse around and kind of look and see if I had weapons where I would want to fire the weapons. As you can see right now, intelligence and counterintelligence plays a pretty big part in this game. There's certain buildings that you can build to boost those and reduce the intelligence of others, as well as in your tech tree. But right now, I would be making very blind shots on this planet because I can see exactly 0% of my enemy. The fourth view you have here is your targeting mode. So if I were to have any kind of weapons, they would show up here on the left-hand side. I would click them if I had enough of my energy still in use, and I would try to make the shot at my enemy. Now, when I play, I am known to take incredibly long turns just simply through the weaponing system so that I can try and aim up my shots. You can see here that these little arrows indicate at the end of the turn which way your planet is moving. So everybody's moving different ways, counterclockwise or clockwise, and you have to take that into consideration when you're firing your shots. I won't really get into depth on weapons and the differences in trajectories and lasers and straight shots, and how to position an asteroid shot. Since this is just a simple overview, it might be something I do a little bit later if there's enough interest in it. And the last thing I want to touch on here is the tech tree. So not a massive tech tree. For those of you that have played Civilization, you're used to scrolling and breaking out a map and looking at a massive tech tree, but useful nonetheless. So on turn 1, you can start on any one of these 3. And as you mouse over them, it tells you what it does. Unlocks telescopic array, unlocks nuclear plant, and unlocks data security hub. And then it kind of, moves on from there to where at the very end of this tech tree, I get my asteroid diversion. At the very end of here, I unlock a solar laser. So you can unlock weapons, you can unlock boosts to science, energy, and materials, and you can also unlock counterintelligence and intelligence boost. The last one would be population growth, and that would just make your cities harder to kill. So that is a pretty simple overview for Interplanetary. I've had a ton of fun with this game. I've made friends mad, I've got mad at my friends, all is fair in love and intergalactic warfare. So I hope you guys like it. I might be putting out some more tutorials for this as I play more and become better at the game. But I just had a great time with this game by Team Jolly Roger, and I wanted to make a short tutorial for anybody that's looking to get into it as kind of, maybe a resource that they can use. That'll be it for this tutorial. Thanks for watching. If you have any comments or questions or suggestions, be sure to leave them below, and I will see you guys later. Adios.